Hi teachers, this is the instructional guide for primary 2, term 1, term 2, week 3. Okay, so for this week, 2 booklets, and to simplify the terms that we're doing long division. The first one is without renaming. So it's really technical here. I don't think it's necessary to spend so much time on it for the teach segment. So rather, I would just suggest that you move on to the guided practice, right, section, to start teaching them how to do this, right? So let's turn to page 6, right? Page 6. So you might either you can draw it on the board or yeah, I think it'd be good to draw it on the board. So in a way, so then it'd be easier to explain to students. So make sure that you do this 96, right? Divide by 3. Okay. And then to help them understand, right, what they are actually doing, right, I will encourage that for a start, you might want right tens and ones here, right, so they can follow. So here, right, 96 divided by 3, the quite opposite from multiplication, where we usually multiply the ones first, then the tens and the hundreds. For division, we work on the leftmost place value first, right? So here 9/10, right? That's the leftmost place value. So 9/10 divided by 3, right? What is the answer? Right? What is 9/10 divided by 3? 9/10 divided by 3 is 3/10. All right. Or if they cannot remember what is 9 times 3, 9 divided by 3, 9/10 divided by 3, they can go 3 times which number equals 9/10. So 3 times 3 equals 9/10. Okay. And then it's not indicated here, but I think it's good practice to understand that they have to subtract it, right? So that they know that there's no remainder. Here means that there's no remainder. Now let's move on to the ones. But before they move to the ones, okay, make sure that they bring down the 6, right? Help them draw an arrow here. Okay, and then now let's look at 6 here. Okay, 6 divided by 3, 6 divided by 3 will be equals to 2 ones. Okay, so 2 times 3 equals 6. Ask them to write it down here. 0. That means that this means there is no, this is a remainder, which in a sense means there's no remainder, right? So that's 32. Practice one more with them. This involves hundreds, okay? And then after that, we'll move on to with remainder, right? So make sure you do another practice with them on this one. After that, with remainder, I'll just encourage you to move on to, let's see, okay, let's just proceed to B. All right. So here, you have 398 divided by 3. Okay, so again, start with 300s. 300s divided by 3 equals 100. All right, so you put 1 here. And then 3 times 1 equals 3. All right, so 3 minus 3, 0. And then you bring down the 9/10 to this level. All right, and then 9/10 divided by 3 equals 3/10. 3 times 3/10 equals 9/10. Okay. So they need a lot of practice, right, to familiarize themselves with the step. 0, and then bring this down again. Right, to 8. Now, what about 8? Can 8 be divided by 3? All right, so if 8 cannot be divided by 3, then they need to think about 8 divided by which number will give you a number that is closest to 8 but less than it. So they can try multiplication, right? 3 times 1 equals 3. Too far away? How about 3 times 2? 3 times 2 equals 8, possible. 3 times 3 equals 9, that's too little. Okay, so hence it's 3 times 2. And then write the 8, the 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, and then 8 minus 2. Sorry, 8 minus 6 equals 2. And so that means there's a remainder. Okay, so remember to get them the right answer. The answer will be quotient. Remember that this is quotient from last lesson. So the quotient is 132. Remainder is 2. Okay, do one more practice with them. All right, demonstrate again. Maybe too early for them to do it on their own unless those already have done it in class. I would say don't worry about this portion here, right? Can be quite confusing for some, as long as you explain it in terms of tens, or rather hundreds, tens, and ones. I think that's fine, right? So that they know that they're doing it like that. Okay, so notice is 800s divided by 4 equals 200s. 400s divided by 4 equals 100. And then 1, can it be divided by 4? No. All right, so what is this may be a issue for some student, right? So hence good to explain this. So hence, what is a number that when you multiply by 4 will give you a number that is closer to 1 but less than it? Okay, so that's 0, right? Because 0 times 4 equals 0. So remainder is 1. Okay, so this one you may need to explain a bit. Okay. And then after that, right, you can get them to do C and D on their own, right? Make sure that they're able to do these steps correctly. Okay, some may need more help, right? Do offer them help. It's free. Those who are done, they can move on to do more practice, right, later on. So please do these practices in class as I've circled them. Right, so notice that some would require more scaffolding work. And then we scroll down once you think they are comfortable enough to do on their own. Scroll down to question page 27. Right, so here now they got to write it on their own. Right, so make sure that they do it properly. Okay, they may want to draw the lines, okay, to help them to line it up. If let's say for those who are neat and tends to have the numbers go out of place, right? So watch them, right? If they need this as guidance, okay, then by all means tell them to do this instead. Okay, so I purposely get them to do M and N because one has a remainder, the other one doesn't have. Right, so take note of them doing it. So I think at this point in time, you should be walking around to make sure that their steps are correct and interfere or interject as early as possible. Right, some students may need more practice. Okay, and then after that, we do word problems. Okay, so here, get them draw the model out. James has, oh, actually this is already drawn, right? But James has $84. He has 4 times as much money as Tim. Okay, but good to get them draw on their own. Okay, explain to them how this is drawn like that. 4 times means 4 units. Okay, so if Tim is 1 unit, 4 times James is 4 times more is 4 units. Tim is 1 unit. Okay, for this, remember to get them to do the working. Right, so always working on the right. Okay, make sure that they're working, and then after that they write the equation, they do the working, and then the answer, the statement. Okay, do C as well. Emma is thinking of a number, and so get them write it out, a number. Emma is thinking of a number, and if she multiplies by 9, so this makes it easier because some students, when they read it, they may get confused. So Emma is thinking of a number, we don't know what this number is, put a box, right? And she multiplies by 9, the answer, the product is 99. So what is the number that she's thinking of? So it's actually 99 divided by 9. Okay. All right. So working here. Oops, sorry. What am I doing? Apologies. Okay. So working here. 99 divided by 9. Okay. All right. One more question here with remainder. Right. So help them up. A baker baked 775 pineapple tarts. She packed the tarts equally into 7 large containers. How many tarts were there in each container? Okay, so it's 775 divided by 7. So this question is a remainder, right? When you go through the question with them, right, analysis, right, you get them to spot the remainder, right? How many tarts were there in each container? This is the quotient, right? And how many tarts were left over, which means remaining, right? Left over, this is the remaining, right? So they need to be able to answer the question later on, right? Which is why when you get the answer, this is the quotient, this is the remainder. Okay. All right. And then we are done for this booklet. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is division with renaming. So again, I would skip this teaching segment and goes right into guide practice so that you can teach and guide at the same time. Okay, here you have 91 divided by 7, right? So 9, can it be divided by 7, right? Most of them will say no. Okay, then in that case, you got to, just like what we did early on, you got to divide it with, think of a number, right? That when you multiply 7 by, or 7 with, you get a number that is closest to 9 but less than it, right? So we can try, right? Start with 1. I think at the primary 3 stage, I always get them to start with 1, then 2, then 3, right? So 7 times 1 equals 7. Okay, close to 9. 7 times 2, 14, too much. So 1 is correct, right? So 7 times 1 equals 7. Okay, and then 9 minus 7 equals 9, oh, sorry, I should say 9 tenths minus 7 tenths equals 2 tenths. Bring down the 1. Okay, now 21, can it be divided by 7? Yep, so this is the test of the multiplication skill as well. In other words, 7 times how many 1s equals 21. So that's 3. Okay, so teach them this way as well. And then one more question here, B. All right, got them along. 8, can it be 800? Can be divided by 3? And then so if not, okay, find the number that is closest, right? After you divide by 3, or a number that multiplied by 3 will give you closest to 8. So that would be 2, right? And then just, yeah, let's follow. C, right? Can get in practice. If you, I think for C, by the time, if you notice that they are already quite clear, get them to try on their own, right? If not, you may need to demonstrate again. Again, forget about this. Okay, and then get them to do page 16, C on their own. So these circled questions are already marked in the answer key that I'm sending you, all right, so that you can just refer to them in terms of which question to do. Okay, so make sure that you're able to do this properly. Again, if they are not neat, right, they need to have these lines to help align it. Okay, let's see what else. I think I have some more questions. So this one will require them to do completely on their own. Okay, page 21. And I think that's about it. That's it. Yep. That's it for the 2 books. And then we're going to administer the multiplication test this week, which we did not do last week. Thank you.